My student, Mack, asked me, what is the best way to sell digital products online? Here's my answer. This video is divided into 3 sections. Section 1, I'm going to talk about the 2 places where you can sell digital products. Section 2, I'm going to talk about how to save frustration and time selling digital products. And step number 3, I'm going to talk about the step-by-step how to do it. So without any further delay, let's dive in. Let's first shout out to my student Mack. Yes, brother, I do remember you. I remember all the stuff that we have talked about, how we talked about the pawn shop and then you flip and how you're making extra money doing that. And I'm very happy with you're making $10,000, $20,000 extra income by watching me on YouTube. It really hits me hard. You're a blessing from Angel because it does make me feel very good, like my life has purpose. So thanks for sharing. I'm not gonna make a course. I'm gonna show you how you can sell digital products yourself. Now, I'm a refugee that came to America. I could only spell and read at a 6th grade level, and I don't think I'm the best guy to sell digital products. My very first year, I sold $75,000 of digital products, what I call pushing PDF, when I can't really read and I really can't write. So I know this is gonna help you, okay? Now, so I know your story, Mack, and all my students has bought my courses before. I know your stories, every single one of you, I don't forget, okay? So let's dive in. There's basically 2 ways to sell digital products. Step number 1 is, and let me give you an example. Imagine you're an artist, you're a rapper. There's 2 ways to sell your CDs. Number 1, you can sell it through your trunk of your car. There are rappers that have done that, like Immortal Techniques, Swisher House, they've made a lot of money. Or you can sell your soul to a record company and make money instantly. And this is basically the same thing happens to selling digital products. There's 2 ways to sell digital products. You can use your own website to push your own products. You keep all the money, but it's the hardest way to do it. The second way to do it is to use third-party platforms like Audible, like Amazon, like Kindle, like eBay, like Udemy, and the list goes on and on and on, because there are a lot of platforms where you can sell your digital products on. The disadvantage of going that way is that, like the example of the rapper, if someone goes that way, they're selling their soul to the third party, they're enslaved to them, they have to share their profits with them. At any time they can get cut off. Where the first step is the hardest way to make money, it's the slowest way to make money, but you keep all your money and you're a free man to do whatever you want. You don't have to bow down to anyone. Now, the 2 ways that I've done it is, I've only done step number 1, which is basically work for myself, sell my digital products through my own channels. Now, I have used about 3% other platforms like Amazon, like Kindle, like eBay to sell products just to test it out, and that's why I know there's 2 ways to do it. Now, I have students that have used option number 2. It's fast growth, you make money very quickly, but again, you're at the mercy of the third party company, okay? So that is part 1. Now, part 2 is very important, so I hope you listen up, Mike. Part 2 is that before you make a book, or before you make a digital product, or before you make a course, it's better to do a pre-launch and sell the product without having it. Let me say that again. The way I did it is, I had a pre-launch without having the mother course. I had a pre-launch of my VA course without even having it. Once people raised their hands up and they bought my product, then later on, I created the book, I created the course. Now, the advantage of this is that I don't have to spend months and weeks, maybe years, writing a book, a course, and then I bring it up to the market and it's a flop, and I'm very frustrated, I lost a lot of money, I'm disappointed, I think this doesn't work. Maybe the idea that I had just didn't work for that book. Maybe another idea that I have may be a hit. This is why I came to the conclusion is better to sell your product when you don't have the product. Let people know, hey, it's gonna come out in 6 weeks, it's gonna come out in 4 weeks, and get all the pre-orders. Just kind of like what Tesla does, right? They do a pre-launch, they don't have the car yet, they get all the money, and then once enough people raise their hand and say, okay, this is a good product, and then now let me go into the construction and make it the best I can. Because I already made 10 grand, I already made 20 grand, I already made 50,000, I already made 75,000 off this one product. I don't even have it, okay? And then I'll sit there and make it and give it to them. But let's say I do a pre-launch and I only sell two products. Maybe this wasn't a great product, you know, because I sent it out and I did all the stuff and it didn't sell. So my recommendation is always Sell a pre-launch. Tell people you don't have the product, you're in the process of making it, and see if there's a demand for it, okay? And this is the thing where you can't do that with third parties, but you can do it with your own. So option one, what we talked about in part one. Now, the other recommendation that I have is very, very crucial. See, I can't really read or write at a 6th grade level, but I was able to sell $75,000 of products because the first thing I did is not create a product. The very first thing I did is in 2013, I started creating content, free educational information, teaching the world all my secrets from fitness, moving company, real estate brokerage, how to buy houses at a discount, marketing, leads, negotiation, everything you can imagine. For 2013 to 2016, which is about 3 years, I did not sell anything. All I did is just give free information on my YouTube channel. Only in 2016 is when I decided to monetize my product, which I didn't even have because I did option one. I didn't have the product, I did a pre-sale, okay? To make sure people wanted it before I spend all that time and energy. So my recommendation number 2 is, instead of focusing on creating a product or a book or a course, I will create, the content, okay? So I can build my email list, so I can build my subscribers, I can build my following, so I can build the people that actually like me and love me or and may want to do business with me before I come up with a product. So this is very, very crucial because these 2 golden tips that I just given you, Mike, will save you a lot of money. Instead of focusing on creating the product first, do a pre-sale. And instead of focusing on creating a product or a pre-sale, create free content so you can grow your subscribers, so you can grow your email list. Depends on what strategy you're using, okay? Because it's better to have an audience and not have a product, and then you come up with a product. Well, you don't even come up with a product. You do a pre-sale of a product which you don't even have, and then a lot of people sign up for it, and then you get to the drawing board and make the final product the best as you can because you already paid 10 grand or 20 grand, whatever. Versus the other way around, spending 6 months creating a book and then figuring out, who am I going to sell to? I don't have an audience, and then like, oh man, what am I going to do? And then no one buys it. Only 1 or 2 people buy it. It's just frustration after frustration. So the 2 recommendations are: start creating content first, or build your email list first. Figure out how you're going to get your audience first, and then decide to create a product. But before you even create a product, pre-sell it before you even make the product, okay? So I hope that helps out a lot, okay? All right, let's go to part 3 of this video, which is the how to do it, the step-by-step on how to sell digital products or courses or books, okay? Step number 1. Identify the niche, or identify what you're great at. For example, when I came into the real estate in 2013, I started giving out all my information. I focused on what I did as a real estate investor. What I was good at is finding off-market properties, spending very little money in marketing, and then negotiating a deep discount offer or seller financing. And that's what I did. I didn't try to do everything else. Now, I do have a lot of experience in tax liens, this, but again, my cup of tea, like Bruce Lee says, is that one kick 10,000 times. And that's what my expertise is, and that's what my content was, is how to find motivated sellers, how to find, all my free content was how to find motivated sellers, how to market to them, how to negotiate, how to structure, what to do once you get the property, etc. Okay? So that was my niche. So step number 1 on how to get started is figure out what is your niche. What are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell gadgets for construction workers? Are you trying to sell gadgets for real estate investors? Are you trying to sell gadgets or books or education training for real estate investors? So you have to know who your audience is, okay? That's very, very important. Now, step number 2 is to build a website. This is very, very crucial. It doesn't matter if you're going to go with option 1 to sell the stuff from the trunk of your own car, or if you're going to go with the third-party platforms. It's very, very important to create yourself a website. If you need a website, reach out to me. I can hook you up, brother, and I can get you hosting as well, okay? Now, one thing that's very important when you create a website, when you're first starting out, is you don't need to have a very fancy website, okay? But you do need to have a website that's going to be able to capture the leads, okay? And in that sense, it's better to just start off with a one-page landing website and give something away for free so you can capture your customers or your potential customers or your potential followers email. So whenever you do come up with a product, you can just send out an email to 10,000 people, send out an email to 100,000 people because you already have that, okay? This is why you need a website, and your website needs to be able to capture your audience's information. Maybe at the very minimum, their cell phone, their name, their email, and how did they heard about you, okay? And that's basically what I do, because all those things, 4 things that I just said is important. How did they hear about you is very, very crucial. We don't have time to get into that in this video, but if you like, I'll make content for you, okay? Now, number 3, after you make your website, which comes number 3, is now you gotta start creating content, okay? This is very, very important because a lot of you won't want to do the American way. The American way is to stick your hand out, sign a piece of paper, and get the money, which is dead, okay? But the normal way, the organic way, the traditional way is that you gotta plow the ground, you gotta plant the seeds, you gotta maintain it, you gotta do a lot of work to get what you want. So in reality, now step number 3 is now you gotta do the work. You gotta provide that free content constantly, okay? Not once in a while, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or a monthly basis, depending on how you want, intervals you wanna do it, but you gotta be consistent with it. You gotta constantly provide that content. Number 4, you have to now utilize SMS or email marketing, because once you get these subscribers, once you get these emails, okay, somehow they gotta still be in connection with you. And this is why it's so important to have a lead magnet. This is why it's so important to have a website, to be able to capture that, to be in communication with your customers, okay? Next, number 5 is you have to be able to learn how to leverage social media. If you're talking about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, because the old school of spending money in marketing is over. Today, the way I teach it, okay, is I don't spend any money in marketing. I use free social media, SEO, blogs, etc. to generate me leads totally for free. And if I am going to spend any money, it's going to be the money to people that have already identified themselves from being a lead versus generating leads, okay? And that's why social media is so important. So if you want to sell digital products, books, you have to be able to leverage social media and even partner up with other influencers that can sell your book. But on the other hand, you have to give them something, because remember, third party, they want something from you, okay? Now, number 4, once you're ready to go ahead and launch that product, then, like I said, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time. I didn't spend any time making it. I spend the time marketing it. So I don't spend any time making it. I spend the time marketing it. Once enough people raise their hand and says this is a good product, then I make it, okay? And this is where, it's important that you start, providing discounts. And that's why I said, when you do a pre-launch, you say this course is $500, but if you get it right now, I don't have it, it's going to be ready in 4 to 6 weeks, you can get it for just $100. And this is where the discounts come in. So you got to start giving some discounts to get some sales in. And then number 6 is you got to provide good support, okay? Now, in my business, with Mr. No Fluff, as his name says, I'm not trying to here to sell people, I'm not here to fluff them. So I've been very honest and blunt to people, to my own detriment, okay? There's been people that I refund their money back. I told them straight in their face where they're screwing around, where they're not messing, and other coaches would not have done that because it's all about the Benjamins, baby. But I made a promise to myself that I don't want to do any other businesses where it's all about the Benjamins. And so I've been honest with people. But if you provide that kind of service, then you got to realize your business is going to shrink. So you got to realize where you want to be. You want to be at the ultimate customer service, where even if the customer is wrong, you're willing to kiss their butt and make it happen. And that's a business model I used to have with my moving company, right? It doesn't matter where you were, we're ready to do business with you, right? But as I've evolved, I realized that no, this is the kind of customers I want, this is how they gotta look like, this is how they gotta act like, and if they don't do those things, then I don't want to spend my life energy with them because we don't resonate, okay? So you have to understand what kind of level of service you want to provide, and if you're going to be a Mr. No Fluff type of guy, or you're going to be like I'll kiss your butt in everywhere fashion just to get the Benjamins, baby. So that's something that you have to decide, okay? The next thing is that you got to start collecting testimonials and showcasing that information out. Now this is one of the hardest things, because some guy that's been an entrepreneur for 25 years, never had a job, is that for every one positive customer you have, right, that gives you a positive review, you may have done 20 great jobs with people, but they never give you reviews for whatever reason. For example, like in my moving business, I might move 100 people just to get 2 positive reviews, okay? And that's just the way it was, because people are so busy, they're just moving to their home, they have this thing, they have that, they got this. They don't have the time to sit down and give it to you, okay? And so this is why it's so important. So when you look at a business on, let's say, Google, and they have like 100 reviews, well, there's probably 10,000 people that are happy with them, but only 1% of that came and left a review, okay? So this is why it's important as a small business owner to be able to realize that, hey, it's a lot of work to get those reviews. I really need this review because it's gonna help me sell my product, because these people are vouching for my services in a sense. So it's very important to collect that and then showcase that testimonial on your website or on your one-page landing pages, because we live in a society, unfortunately, like monkey see, monkey do. When people see other people, then they want it, okay? And not saying this is right or wrong, but that's just the society we live in, and so you have to provide that kind of evidence for those type of customers, okay? The next thing you got to focus on is monitoring and optimizing. For example, if you have this one-page website, then you might want to add some a blog on there so you can get free leads from the search engine, okay? Search engine optimization, SEO, okay? Now, I've been a master of that since I've been doing it since 1999 when Yahoo was king and not Google, okay? But it takes a lot of time to learn about it. But simply put, if you create a blog, you start posting on a regular basis, like a daily basis or bi-weekly basis, you're gonna start having a higher probability of ranking in the real estate cyber world in higher position, kind of like real estate, you know, location, location, location. If you're on the first page, number one, you're gonna get a lot of traffic. If you're on the 10th page, you're not gonna get that much traffic, just like real estate, okay? So you have to monitor your website, you have to monitor your Instagram, your social media, and see, okay, are you generating leads? What's working, what's not working, you know, and I can tell you guys that the algorithm changes all the time. I don't care if you're talking about YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, so on. So you have to realize that. Another thing I gotta tell you is that if you're providing content, it's very important that you stay neutral if you want to make money. Like for me, I haven't been neutral. Like, you know, when I see something injustice in the world, I stand up and I protest. And that has hurt my business. But you know what? I'm not doing this for money, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing it because someone called me to do this, okay? I was living large and I had everything I wanted, but I wasn't happy because someone called me to do that. So when I see injustice in the world, I step up and I protest it on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook, which has made me lose a lot of reach and monetization and so on and so on. But you know, I know that there's more to life than this material world. So for me, it's okay. But I'm telling you that if you want to have material success, you got to be neutral. You got to be neutral about religion. You got to be neutral about government policies, wars, injustices, because there are people that are not going to buy from you because just the way you look, because the way you think, and better yet, there are algorithms that'll inhibit your growth because of your way you think, because of freedom or truth. So if you want to sell digital products, you got to be neutral. You got to be like cool as an ice. You can't like melt, you know what I mean? You got to stay neutral. And if you don't, you will pay the maximum consequences in this world, because the algorithms will hurt you. I don't care if you're talking about YouTube, Facebook, Craigslist, whatever, they'll get you, brother, okay? So stay neutral, monitor your results, and keep pushing, okay? And last but not least is the call to action. In everything you do, guys, if it's your website, if it's your content production, if it's your posts, social media posts, in your books, when they download your book, what is the next step, okay? You always want to have your subscribers or your buyers do the next step. You gotta let them know what is the next step. For example, in school, after you finish first grade, what is the next step? Second grade. After second grade, third grade. After junior high, high school. After high school, see, they have created a system, a path for the students. And the same thing with you. When someone buys your digital products, what is the next step? Okay, when someone buys a new flip, the next step is they join the free coaching at the Facebook group, and I work with them to make sure that they are able to do their very first deal so they make money, because I'm here for them to win, okay? Because when they win, I win, okay? And so that is a step, right? So they get the book, next step is to get on the Facebook, and I try to help them become their dreams, okay? Now, some people will buy books and don't do anything. And no matter how good your product is, they're just not gonna do anything, dude. And there's nothing you can do about it. And for the longest time, I used to feel sad and like, man, what can I do? But I came to a realization is that, you know, some people are just lazy. They're just not gonna do it. Even if you show them a proven system and you can have 20, 30 people that have already done that system and they make money, they're just not gonna do it. You know, they think it's not worth their time, they're better than that. Whatever their story is, you know, you're gonna have that type of audience. And this is the bonus thing that I wanna give you, brother, is that no matter what you do, Mac, whatever you do in life, when you first start off, if the omens are with you, the winds are with you, if the unwritten hand is with you, you're gonna have success immediately, okay? For example, when I created a new flip, I immediately put it up there and people start buying like crazy. When I first created my moving company, I had so much leads that I picked up the phone and people were ready to book. Okay, like it was like the blessing of God, right? The owners were with me. Okay, but eventually it starts drying up. Eventually it becomes extremely hard, and this is when the creator is going to challenge you to see what are you made of. And so my bonus advice is, no matter what you want to do in life, first decide this is really what you want to do. And if the winds help you in the beginning, you're at the right place, right? Because the creator, the unwritten hand, wants you to do this thing, right? However, please understand that there's going to be significant difficulties that will come after the initial inertia. For example, you never played backgammon. The first game you might win, right? But after that, it's going to be extremely hard, right? And the same thing with real estate, selling digital products, starting a business, being your dream. If this was your calling, you may get, usually, enormous omens, enormous wins to help you, okay, to sell those digital products. Like my first year, I made 75,000, right? But then it's going to be extremely difficult, and this is where it's determined from your heart. This is not about your brains. It's not about your emotions. It's your heart. Are you willing to take the no's? Are you willing to go and be homeless to be your dreams? And I did a video about that, brother, just a few days ago, because if you want to be your dreams, the ultimate question to ask is, am I willing to sleep on the street to be it? And if the answer is no, ultimately, when things will get tough, you're going to quit. Not you, just you, Mike, but people in general, including me. This is why, for me, no matter whatever I did, I said, look, I don't give a shit. If I'm gonna live in the street, that's fine. I'm not gonna quit. If I'm gonna die, that's fine. I'm gonna do it. And twice in my life, I have had success. I'm in my third journey now, but I can tell you guys, no matter what happens, if I have to sleep in the street, if I have to go starve it, and I've done all this stuff, right? I'm just not gonna quit, dude. And this is to prove to the guy above, dude, that that he can trust me with this vision, because I'm not gonna quit when things go tough, okay? And I think the bonus thing is that if you want to be your dreams, just never quit, dude. You just cannot quit. You just gotta keep pushing, keep pushing. Your mama's gonna tell you can't do it. Your daddy's gonna tell you can't do it. Your sister's gonna tell you can't do it. But maybe you have family that are not like that. They'll encourage you, and thank God that they are like that, hopefully. But for many people, or some people, their family's not going to encourage them. Life is not going to encourage them. Life, the enemy is going to hold you down, and the enemy is going to tell you can't do it. The enemy is going to tell you you're not worth it. The enemy is going to tell you, oh, blah, 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 blah. The enemy is going to make you think about your past failures and think about the future anxiety. And so you can't do any of that. You got to stay in the present. You got to focus on what your goal is. And no matter what, never give up. Mac, I really appreciate you supporting me. I remember every course you have bought for me, and I really appreciate you telling me you are making an extra $10,000-$20,000 a year. It really touches my heart, because that's exactly why I did what I did. Left my businesses because someone told me I gotta help other people out, and I'm super stoked that this has helped you, brother. And I wish you very success and abundance in your next journey of selling digital products, my man. Much love. And by the way, what are you trying to sell, bro? Peace.